Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator Matt Canada has a clear message, saying that they basically use the exact same plays as last season, but are expecting different results. As we all know by now, the Steelers beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 27-17 in the very first preseason game, and that day, the Steelers offense looked really good, and especially that first drive. Kenny Pickett only played one drive, he went 6 for 7, 70 yards, and a touchdown, and he hit George Pickens for a touchdown. He also hit Deontay Johnson multiple times, but we have to realize I was obviously going against a second team defense. Yes, there's maybe some starters playing on the defense for the Buccaneers, but mostly it was against their second strings because they're resting their first stringers. But either way, against second stringers or first stringers, it was really great to see the Steelers offense really communicate really good and actually execute on plays. But Matt Canada, the offense coordinator, just spoke recently about that game and about the Steelers offense heading into next season, and this is what he had to say. Here's a direct quote. "We did all the things we did last year in that game, but it looked with our ones. It was clean, good, sharp, our execution was better. That's the same thing we've been talking about for a long time. I'm really excited about where we are at and where we are headed. I think we can be really good. We're going to keep quietly moving forward and doing one thing at a time, consistently getting better." So that's what he had to say. And when he started off that quote, he made sure to say that we did all the things that we did last year, meaning that he probably heard all the criticism and just wanted to throw that line in there and kind of stick it to the Steelers fans that were talking bad about him, saying basically we just did the same thing, but our players are better now and it's going to work now. With him saying that, he's basically expecting different results. He's expecting the same plays that didn't work last season to magically work this season. And I also half agree. I understand where he's coming from saying that, but on the other hand, I don't agree as well. First, I'll tell you what I agree with. So, obviously the players are getting better. Kenny Pickett another year in the offense, George Pickens another year in the offense, more communication, better alignment in what they want to do. So, you expect the plays to be executed better. But at the same time, the thing I don't agree with, that was not the only thing that was wrong with the Steelers offense. When you look at their play calling, it was just so predictable and bad play calling at certain times. For example, if they needed 10 yards, all the routes would be under 5 yards, not giving the Steelers basically any chance to make the first down. Also, calling 2 negative runs back to back. The Steelers would run for 0 yards, and then he would just call another run, and then they would get 2 yards. And that would put them in a long 3rd and 8 situation, and just put the team in a bad situation where they're going 3 and out or having to punt the ball. So it was not only the players not executing the plays. For example, Matt Canada's play calling was just terrible at times, too predictable. You hear other teams after the game saying they knew all the Steelers plays and stuff like that. So that was not the only thing that was wrong with the Steelers offense. It was Matt Canada's actual play calling as well. But if the execution is 100 times better, sometimes that can make up for their offense coordinator not being good. So I understand a little bit where he's coming from there. The one thing I'll say in Matt Canada's defense, though, is he hasn't had much work with during his time in Pittsburgh as the offense coordinator. During his first season, he had Ben Roethlisberger basically in his final year and couldn't play anywhere near to the level that he used to play. The offensive line was really bad, and the team still found a way to the playoffs, though. For the 2022 season, Canada also had a rookie quarterback in Kenny Pickett. Mitchell Trubisky started the season, didn't play good with inconsistencies. So, since he became the offensive coordinator, you have to admit that the quarterback and the team overall has just not been really solid. Yes, they still end up having winning records and stuff like that, but that was more so their defense kind of carrying them. They would always be under 20 points whenever they go on the football field. If the defense couldn't hold the opponent to under 20 points, it just seems like the Steelers wanted to win. So yes, I agree. The Steelers offense needs to be better. But also, Matt Canada has not been dealt a really good hand. So this season, even though his play calling also has been terrible, don't get me wrong, it's also his fault as well. He should be able to make stuff happen like Kyle Shanahan has done with Brock Purdy and making it all the way to the NFC Championship game with a rookie quarterback. So I'm not saying that. I'm not taking all the discredit away from Matt Canada's bad play calling. I agree. He's been not good. But he should have still been able to make it happen with a rookie quarterback as well. Now let's just talk about the specific details of that first preseason game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When you look at the Steelers' offense, especially early on in the game, they took shots downfield, but it wasn't as expected because they took shots down the sideline, and that's what they did last year as well. When they were taking shots down the field, they were only using the sideline to do it, and that's where people had problems with. They're supposed to be using both the sideline and the middle of the field, but it just seems as though the Steelers are reluctant to take shots in the middle of the field, and it was only used a couple times to the Connor Hayward and stuff like that. I could count maybe 3 or 4 times where they really used the middle of the field and kind of the deep area. But the Steelers offense, the biggest reason why the fans were criticizing is because of the short plays. And once again, the Steelers offense, it was those short plays, those comeback routes right at the sticks, and just deep shots on streak go routes down the sideline. They weren't really creative as much, but like Matt Canada said, they were executing better. That's why it looked better. But also, it was a preseason game, and they're going against second, third, fourth people trying to make the team and make the roster. So, of course, your offense is going to look better. But just the play calling in general, it kind of looked the same. They're running the same jet sweep actions, the same fake jet sweeps, the same halfback dives that were going for 2 yards. They're doing the exact same things. So, it was just executed better, like he said. And I can agree that the plays do need to be executed better, but at the same time, the play calling just did not improve that I saw that much. They only used the middle of the field like 3-4 times. In order for the Steelers' offense to succeed, their offensive line has to be better because the second unit of their offensive line, even though they're the second unit, when those guys came in, they were getting bulldozed and they were getting straight to the quarterback. And you've seen that Mitchell Trubisky throwing an interception, Mason Rudolph being scrambled and being off balance multiple times, having the throw hit the dirt way in front of the wide receiver. So the offense line just in general has to be better, has to be able to protect the quarterback for these throws and for these plays to develop. And you've seen those second string guys, they were just not able to block. Kendrick Green got bulldozed multiple times. The Steelers offense had a bad snap here and there, and the Steelers offense, whenever that happened, they just couldn't do anything and couldn't put anything together. So the same key to last season, which was the offense line needed to be better both in the run and pass game, I believe that's the same thing this season, and the Steelers got more players to be better on their offense line. But with that being said, that's the end of this video. Let me know down in the comments below. How do you feel about this topic? How do you feel about Matt Canada basically saying they're going to be running the exact same plays as last season, but expect a better execution because the players have another year in this offense? How do you feel about that? Do you believe they need to switch things up and run different plays, or do you believe it is the execution that needs to be better and Matt Canada's play calling was fine and he's going to be fine this upcoming season? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below as well if you like Steelers content, reports, analysis, stuff of that nature. I cover everything Pittsburgh, so you want to see all the football action of your Steelers, this is the best spot to keep up to date with all of it. I covered everything in the offseason, and I'll continue to cover everything throughout the season. So, if you want to stay in one spot for Steelers reports and analysis, this is the spot for it. Turn on notifications for the channel, click the bell down below, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace. Also, in the next preseason game, I'm going to come up with my own predictions of who I believe will make the final roster and who I believe will stick on the Pittsburgh Steelers depth chart and be the first, second, and third teamers. So, if you want me to make a certain type of video, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll try to get that as soon as possible. But as for now, I have things that you should be waiting for and things that to be expected in the near future. So stay tuned to the channel.